It's got some stars, it's got some hearts, it's got like a balance. So when you have a balance and it's even, the balance like stays like this, right? It's like within the same height on each side. It's like the same thing if you like lift weights and you have to put like the same amount of weight on each side, otherwise it's gonna tip over. Well, in the inequalities, you know that they're not gonna be equal. One of them has to be heavier than the other one. So you're gonna see a bunch of pictures in these problems, and you have to figure out which one is bigger than the other side. So the one that, which side on this picture is gonna be heavier or bigger than the other one? Yeah, Jamari?
The star.
Awesome, and we know that this symbol faces which way, Abby?
Well, are you talking about the point or the open? Or
The open part.
Well, the open part is supposed to face the bigger.
Awesome, so we know that this one, the open part is facing the stars because the stars is on like this heavier side and the hearts is on this like lighter side. So the open side is facing the greater number and the stars are greater than the hearts. So I want you guys to write greater stars and hearts in those empty blanks there. So this is going to be like the exact same type of problems we were just doing, but instead of reading word problems, it's going to be like a visual, like a picture. Alright, cool. So that you have like those two scale pictures right below it. I want you guys to draw two X's in a box on this one with a -1 in a circle, and a 5 in that circle, and then 3 X's, and a -2 and a 4. So just copy those exact pictures with those shapes up there, and then we're going to talk about what it means. So the left side of that like first picture should be 2 X's in a box and then a -1. And the right side should have a circle with a 5 in it. And then that second one should have the -2 in a circle on the left with 3 X's and a 4 on the right. So what we're gonna look at when we have problems like this, there's gonna be like little symbols that are telling you how many X's are on this side, how many numbers, and how many numbers. So the goofy way of like putting this into an equation, how many X's do we have in this first one, Mario? 2. What's the numbers on this left side, Ashton? -1 or +1? Awesome, so we know that we have 2X -1, and then is this side heavier or lighter than this side?
It's lighter.
Lighter, so is that gonna be less than or greater than?
That side's less.
This side is less than. So right now we know that this says 2X -1 is less than 5, because there's no X's there. So you should have 2X -1. Oh, I put greater than, sorry, that should be less than. Told you, making mistakes. 2X -1 is less than 5. I'm gonna do it just in case. If the marker works. So this is what your first equation should look like. And now that we know this, Jamari, what's the first thing we gotta do? 2X -1 is less than 5. What would be the first thing you move? If we wanna solve for what this X means, what's the first thing we can do with this left side? Yeah, you add the 1, right? So if you add a 1 to both sides, then you get 2X is less than 6. And then what do we do when we have 2X is less than 6, Mario? What's the next step we would do? We gotta get that X all by itself. Yeah, divide by 2, right? So then you'll have X by itself on the left side, and it'll be less than 3. So you keep that sign the whole way down, where you're using those pictures to set up what your problem looks like. So everyone should have that written on their page. 2X -1 is less than 5. Sorry,
So
I
you
put
add
this
1
on.
to 2X and 5.
What?
So you add 1 to 2X and 5.
You add the 1 to both sides. You don't necessarily add it to the 2X because the 2X has what and the 1 does not have what. Yeah, exactly. So you can't put them together, right? Remember that these signs should be less than, it's not greater than. Sorry about that. I flipped them on both sides. Load it. so let's look at this next one. When you're writing your problems out, just make sure you're using the sign that's above these things right now. For some reason, we flipped them, or I flipped them when I made this PowerPoint. So, Abby, what do we know? How many x's do we have on the left side? Yeah, 3. So what is this left side of the equation gonna look
It's
like?
gonna be 3x minus 2.
Perfect. And then Jamarian, what's the sign gonna be for this one? 3x minus 2 is what?
3x minus 2 is greater than
Awesome. Greater than 4. So I want you guys to, alright, 3x minus 2 is greater than 4. Don't pay attention to the sign in the bottom. So that second one should look like this. And then what's the first thing we do with this, Ashton? We know that 3x minus 2 is greater. Subtract 2 or what's happening already?
What is happening?
What's that sign telling us? 3x minus 2. So it's already being subtracted, right? We're losing it. What do we have to do the opposite of that? Yeah, there you go. So we're gonna add 2 to both sides. So you add 2 to both sides, and then we have 3x is greater than 6. What do we do next, Abby?
Divide by 3.
Yeah, so you divide by 3, and then you get x is greater than 2. I want you guys to flip the page, and you have like 6 pictures on this next side of your page. I want you guys to work with your same partners from earlier, and write the equations for each of them, and then also solve your equations. So write down what those like little pictures are telling you, and then also tell me what your x is gonna be less than or greater than. None of them should have an equal to. How come, Abby?
Because none of them are.
Right, none of those balances are on that same level. Yeah, what's your question,
We're
Joanne?
doing the guided correct.
What?
We're doing the guided correct.
Yeah, I got it right, that's a good question.
Is
Yeah.
this 3 times?
That's a good question. So in the guided practice boxes, there are some that have like different numbers than 1. Use that as like the actual number. So for example, that first one would be 4x plus 1, and then on the other side, it would be 9. So it's 3 plus 3 plus 3, so it'd be 9 on that side, and then you just have to figure out what the symbol is in between. So I'll come around and help you guys. Go work with your partners. The first thing you should look at is your packet if you have a question, and then your partner if you have a question, and then you can ask me, unless I'm there. Awesome. Perfect. So now it's the first thing you're gonna do now that you know. Let's check what's your symbol here. Is this one heavier or lighter?